Okay, dear students, I'm going to take up some bio classes for you. I know this is my first class. I hope you are enjoying video classes and you are equally serious in studies and you are doing hard work with regard to the subject and try to concentrate more on the subject because you have to write the competitive exams at the end of second year. So today, the topic which I am going to discuss is living world. Living world. Dear students, it's very interesting, isn't it? We are all part of this living system, and there are so many different types of living organisms are there in this world. It may be unicellular like amoeba and multicellular like blue whale. It's the biggest. So from unicellular to highly complicated organisms like blue whale, lot of diversities are there in this particular world. Then a question arises in our mind that what is life? What is life? Is it possible for us to tell the exact definition of life? But we can give a comprehensive, that means a rough definition for life. Life is the one which must have certain qualities. If there is a stone which is lying on the ground, we won't say that it is having life, because there are certain qualities are there for the living organisms. They must have those qualities. What are those qualities? They must show growth. Growth should be there. If you observe the organism from animals and plants, both, from embryonic life till the death, it shows growth, and it will be in unidirection, only in one direction. Growth will be in one direction. There will not be any negative growth. Progressive growth, addition of number of cells will occur always. And the second important character that every organism should show is reproduction. Dear students, nobody is permanent in this world. Whether he might be a president of any country or the most brilliant scientist of the world or most very well experienced doctor, whomever it may be, we should die one or the other day. Plants as well as animals also, they should die. So every organism wants to continue its generation. Every organism wants to live for a long period. Nobody wants to die. No organism wants to die. At least then it thinks that it wants to continue its generation. Death is sure. So in the form of offsprings, it wants to continue its presence, its existence in this world. So because of that, reproduction is also a very important character of living organisms. Another character is Metabolism. Dear students, what is metabolism? It is another very important quality of life. What is metabolism? It is some total activity of life. Some total activity of life. It includes catabolism and anabolism. What is catabolism? Breaking process. What is anabolism? Constructive process. For example, if you ate chapati early morning, then after 1 hour, if I cut the skin here, blood, is it possible to get the chapati from the blood vessel? No, it is not at all possible. Because when it goes to stomach, it will undergo catabolism, breaking process. It will be converted. The proteins, wheat, it is made by wheat flour, and that wheat has proteins, and those amino acids, proteins are made up of amino acids, they are broken into smaller fragments. Because that protein, our body cannot accumulate that protein because it is plant protein. It has to be converted into animal protein. So in order to convert it into animal protein, it should be broken down. First of all, into amino acids. Then a new designed protein should be constructed. That is anabolism. So construction is anabolism, destruction is catabolism. These two together called metabolism. I hope it is clear to you. So living organism must show at least certain qualities, that is growth, and there should be reproduction, and there should be metabolism, and the other qualities. What are the other qualities? Cellular organization. Cellular organization. What is cellular organization? It is arrangement of the systems in a cell. You know, all the living organisms are made up of different types of molecules, including human beings. Amoeba can fulfill all its activities in one cell. We human beings, we can fulfill all the activities of our body with many cells. But amoeba also lives happily. We also live happily. But there, it is unicellular grade of organization. Here, in human beings, we have tissue grade of organ system grade of organization. So, our organization is more complicated than amoeba, where it is having cellular grade of organization. We are having organ level of organization or organ system level of organization. Because, you know, in amoeba, one cell can absorb the food, and it will digest the food in that single cell, and it will utilize the nutrients which are there in that particular food, and it will excrete unwanted things. One cell can do feeding, digestion, then excretion, and also the same cell will do the respiration, everything, and also the function of nervous system, response to the stimulus. Everything will be done by single cell. But if you consider human beings, we have our own system. We have digestive system, we have respiratory system, we have circulatory system, we have excretory system, we have nervous system, and endocrine system. So, anyhow, all these systems should be there in the living organisms. And response to the stimulus. They should give response to stimulus. They should give response to stimulus. So these are all the properties of living organisms. In the examination, write the properties of living organisms is the question. I'll write the question like this. You write down the notes which I am dictating while explaining. Write the properties of living organisms. Living organisms. If it is asked for 3 mark, what should be the explanation? You write down that question and you write 3 mark. So, first property is growth. First property is growth. What are the points that you should mention under this? It is increase in the number of cell and mass of the cells by cell division. First of all, you should tell what is growth. It is increase in the number of cells and mass. Increase in the number of cells and mass. Mass means weight. In plants, first point is like this. Second point, in plants, growth is continuous. Growth is continuous. In plants, growth is continuous until death. Throughout the lifespan. Throughout the lifespan, but in animals, what happens in animals? Growth up to certain age. Growth up to certain age. Okay? Growth will be up to certain age. It will not go beyond that. Then you may ask, after that there will not be any growth. Growth will be there. Increase in the number of cells, body weight will increase. Or if something damage occurs to the body parts, repairing mechanism will take place. Nail will grow, hairs will grow. That's also growth. Okay? Then, non-living objects grow by... Then you may ask a doubt to me. Sir, non-living object will also grow by the accumulation of mass on it. Then don't you think that it is growth? Don't you consider stone is having life? If that is a question, there will not be any uniformity in the growth. Dumping of mass will be towards one side or towards the side of the flow of water. But in animals, it is, and plants, the growth is uniform growth. Then you have to write second point, reproduction. Under that, first point is production of progeny having the features similar to that of parents. Production of progeny, offspring, with the similar features of the parents. Of parents, right? Parents. When there is a birth of a child, a newborn child, the relatives, when they go and visit to the house where the newborn child is there, then after observing the child, they say the ears will resemble the ears of the father, nose will resemble the nose of the mother, like that they compare, no? So, in that way, the similarity should be there. Then second point is, reproduction may be sexual or asexual. Sexual or asexual. Reproduction may be sexual or asexual. Then third one is many organisms may not reproduce. You may ask a question to me, sir, there are some organisms, they won't produce offspring, whether they are living then. Yeah. Many organisms may not produce offsprings. Offspring means young one. Offsprings. Like mule. Mule is by crossing horse and donkey. Then worker honeybees. It is sterile. Worker honeybees. Then infertile human couples. Infertile human couples. Okay, infertile human couples. So, uniformly we can't say reproduction is very much essential quality of life, but it is also one of the important quality. Then third one you have to write, metabolism. You write, it can be asked for 3 mark as well as 5 mark. 5 mark, okay. If they ask for 5 mark, you should write all these explanation. If it is asked for 3 mark, you give definition of that. That's enough, okay. I'll give the explanation for 5 mark. Metabolism, that is some total biochemical reactions taking place in the living organism. It is sum total, sum means SUM, that means sum total biochemical reaction taking place or takes place in the or inside the living organism. Inside the living organism. Some total biochemical reaction takes place inside the living organism is called metabolism. Then next important character is cellular. It involves, I will write one more point here. It involves, metabolism involves anabolism and catabolism. Okay, it involves anabolism and catabolism. Next, fourth important point in this question, or while writing the answer, I will write it here. Fourth point, that is cellular organization. Cellular organization. What is cellular organization? How can you define this? It is a defining feature of living organism. That is, organisms are made up of one or more cells. Organisms are made up of one or more cells. One or more cells. Like the life goes like this, from molecule to cell organelles or cells, and cell organelles. What are cell organelles? Mitochondria, endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi complex. All the cell organelles together will form the cell, and many cells together form tissues, cells which are doing common function, and they must have common structure. Tissues together they produce organ together they produce organ system, and many organ system together forms the organism. If you write this much, it is enough. So, molecule will form the cell organelles. Many cell organelles together form the cell. Many cells together which are performing similar function will form the tissue. Different types of tissues together form the organ. Organ together form the organ system. Organ system will together form the organism. Okay? So, now, consciousness. Last point is consciousness. Organisms must have consciousness. What is consciousness? C-O-N-C-I. C-O-N-C-I. Consciousness. Ability to give response to the stimulus. Ability to give a response to stimulus, or ability to give response to environmental changes. Give response to environmental changes. For example, you might have seen plants. They show flowering according to the changes in the season. And in the winter season, some of the plants, they shed their leaves. That means, not only animals, plants also, they are capable to giving response to environmental changes. They are capable to give response to environmental changes. So, that is with regard to. And another point with regard to human beings also you should add here. Human being is the only organism having self-consciousness. Self-consciousness. C-O-N-S-I-O-U-S-N-E-S-S. Self-consciousness. Human beings are the only animals who are having self-consciousness. Now, if you write this much, 1 5-mark question answer is ready. So, you have to prepare like this. Okay? I'll continue. Diversity in the living world. What we should know about this? Diversity in the living world. Diversity in the living world. Dear students, there are different types of organisms are there in this world, and it is known as biodiversity. You write down all the points. What is biodiversity? Variety of organisms which are living in this world, in this environment, in this world. Variety of living organisms living in this world is called biodiversity. You might have seen immediately after rain, first or second rain during the rainy season beginning, night, if you put on the light outside or in front of your gate or gate light on the two sides of the gate, light will be there. No, if you switch on it, then you can see that light will attract different types of insects, small to very big insects. That shows how much variety of living organisms are there in and around your environment. And you can see a minimum 100 or more than 100 different types of birds in nature every day. If you observe consciously, you can see 100 or more than 100 varieties of birds. And different types of snakes are also there. Western Ghat, the place where we are living, is a hot spot for different types of snakes. 5 deadly poisonous snakes are living in this particular area. So, the entire world, variety of organisms are living, hence it is called biodiversity. Number of species is 1.7 to 1.8 million. 1.7 to 1.8 million. Then taxonomy. What is taxonomy? It is study of identification, or taxonomy is also called systematics. It is study of identification. Study of identification, classification, then nomenclature, and then documentation. Documentation of organisms is called taxonomy. So what is taxonomy? It is study of identification, classification, nomenclature, documentation of organisms. I'll explain in the next video.